Welcome back to the Full Court Press Podcast, where we pick up 94 feet and talk hoops the right way. I'm Brian Joyner, joined by Ben Clark. Are you ready to put some pressure on these topics today, Ben?
Yeah, man, we got a sweet guest here today.
Yeah, my longtime good friend, DJ Hardin. How you doing, DJ?
Doing pretty good, yeah. Long time.
The DJ is a Hall of Fame B team freshman player.
That's crazy.
Him and Scott Herrick, throwback.
Look,
Hall of Fame.
I worked my way up.
Oh, and I think y'all both played like 3 games, and then y'all moved up pretty quick. So,
I'm glad. Look, somebody had to understand that we were decent. We were decent.
I think I heard a rumor that they have y'all's jerseys in the JV gym.
Just hung up in the back somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, it's better than me. Mine only made it to the freshman wall, so
there you go.
If only the varsity, but nah, not too bad.
Not too bad. So DJ and I, we go way back. We go back to probably 6th grade, 7th grade or so.
Yeah, about 6th or 7th. Definitely somewhere in middle school. I can't even remember which school, but
do you remember who introduced us to each other?
I don't.
Smokey.
I would be Smokey of all people.
Shout out Smokey. And it's hard because you're in middle school and you got a friend named Smokey, and you have to explain to your parents that
exactly.
Don't worry, he's not a bad influence.
Like no, it's not like that at all. I promise.
I swear, this guy named Doug just gave him the nickname. I don't know what to tell you.
Random, but it's stuck crazy too. From 6th, 7th grade all the way through high school until now. Yeah, people still call him that.
I didn't know his name was Jacob until about junior year.
Look, you're in class and they're reading off the roll sheet. And you're like, Jacob, who's Jacob?
Who's that guy? But
yeah, that's why they still call him Bricks Joyner, right?
That's it.
Oh.
That's it. I don't think so. Anybody see me play? But no. So we go way back. So DJ is a huge Laker fan. Always been. Not particularly sure. You want to go into why you're a Lakers fan? Kind of.
Yeah. So I think it goes back to definitely about elementary school for me. I've always been around basketball. My dad played basketball. My brothers and sisters all did. At some pretty high levels too. And during this particular time, you had to pick your team, and it was either, at least that I remember when I was a kid, it was you were going for the Lakers or you were going for AI in Philly. My brother was AI, and I went with my Lakers, and I've stuck with them since. So I rode the highs and the lows, all of that, the terrible teams in between. But definitely, I'm a Kobe guy, so that's my guy and that's my team, and I've stuck with it.
That's not a bad team to jump on, especially they already had Kobe and he was already killing it. So
yeah, we're talking like early 2000s, and so I mean they're winning championships. It's probably like 2000. I want to say because I was living in Fort Worth then, probably like 2001. So coming off those championships. Old enough to start to understand what's going on and pick your guy, and I think I chose well.
Yeah,
I would say so.
Definitely, those first 10 years were great. The next 5, a little tough, but
little rough in between. That's okay. That's okay.
You didn't like the no tat Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle years?
Oh, it was rough. Look, my Laker delusions were like, we got this, we could do it, pushing through with those guys, the young core. I was still a fan, and I'm still happy to see those guys play too, in their respective teams. Wherever they go, I'm usually kind of watching too and kind of rooting for them on the side, just, as a former Laker. But, those were some rough days.
I think we all go through it.
Swaggy P comes to mind.
Yeah. I still remember that shot where he's like celebrating in the back and the break. I'm like watching those games. Rough, man.
If you got to watch a game with Robert Sacre, then I don't know. You're a real
just
fan.
Talking about that guy the other day too. One of my friends, he was like, "Do you remember him?" I was like, "Of course." I was like, "That's what I'm talking about." Just in reference, sadly, to the ups and downs of our current center. Yeah, he referenced Robert, and I was like, oh no. I was like, don't do him like that. He's not that bad.
Yeah.
All right, we can get into it. We'll get into that a little later. But yeah, no, I might take Robert Sacre over 8 right now. So anyway,
Rough.
but no, we're gonna start off with a little playoff talk. You know, did y'all been keeping up pretty good?
Decently so. Definitely locked into that game yesterday. That was, I'm talking about tier basketball right there. As a fan, that's what you love to watch.
Yeah. I'm sad I didn't stay up for the whole thing. I went to bed a little early, and obviously my phone's going off in the corner. So I'm like, what's going on? Just, sleeper after sleeper notification. When be this, when be that.
Yeah, man.
pretty
It was
crazy.
exciting for sure. Definitely, it's going to be a battle. I don't think we're going to see, at least I would hope not, any blowouts in this series. It's kind of, I joke with my friends, the Western Conference is the finals before the finals. Like, you're going to be excited to see, who's going to make it to the end or who's going to battle it out. So they definitely gave us a show.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I mean, Wemby, he played insane. He had I think they say 16 clutch points in between all. I guess you could say fourth quarter and 2 overtimes. I mean, that's pretty good. And that bomb from the logo is insane.
Crazy.
Like, what do you even do? Did you see they showed an angle of the bench and Cason Wallace? is
Yeah,
over
Cason
there.
Wallace,
He's
yeah.
laughing. He's like, what? What do you do? Like, nothing you can do. This guy's he's a monster, man. 41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 blocks of steal. It's insane. But he wasn't the only guy that was impressive to me. I mean, Dylan Harper looked real good for a rookie playing 47 minutes, only had 1 turnover.
Mm-hmm.
He was really locked in. I was excited to see him play, like you said, being his rookie year, how he was going to respond in the playoffs. And he's definitely one to look out for. He's going to be nice.
Yeah, for sure. Ben, you have anything?
Yeah, it was great to see that, especially considering Fox being out. I think that's kind of a tough blow going right before the game, getting ruled out. And it seemed like all the momentum's in the Thunder's favor going into the series. And then with Shea winning the MVP kind of right before the game as well, doing the ceremony. So it's great to see the Spurs really kind of put it together in the first game. And it almost feels like the media's now flipped from, the Thunder are going to dominate the series. They're going to have some problems with Wemby, but they're the clear favorite. And now all of a sudden the Spurs are like, people are like, how are they going to beat them 4 times? It's crazy.
No, it absolutely is going to be serious. And I kind of always knew it was going to be serious. I mean, these 2 teams are probably the top 2 teams in the NBA. So it's like, and they've been that way kind of the whole season. It was, I don't know, it was really impressive. I was looking forward to it, and I got a good show. Stephen Castle had a triple-double yesterday, did y'all know?
I guess a sneaky one. I wasn't paying attention like that.
Not the one you want. He had 17 points, 11 assists, 11 turnovers.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, I don't think so. With that though, it's rough because OKC kind of does that to everybody. Like, if your guard play isn't top tier, like, they're on you. And not to already jump into the Lakers, but we saw that with the last series. Like, they're on your guards heavy. So if you're not taking care of the ball, and then also I kind of attribute that to Fox being out and him having to be the primary ball handler. You definitely got to see it. Those turnovers made a big difference. It wouldn't be that close if it wasn't.
For sure. And I mean, Harper came out and played really well at the beginning of the game, kind of controlling everything. And then they put, Dort and Caruso and Cason Wallace and all these dudes, like, they started focusing a little bit on him and then Wemby, of course. But so it's like, you have to have somebody bring the ball up and run pick and roll and stuff like that. So the Castle was the one because he had I guess you could say the weakest defender because there's no weak defenders on that team.
I was about to say that team is deep. Man.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about them. They could put any 5 out there and be solid.
Yeah.
So if you're not playing, on your A game, I won't say it's a miracle. I don't want to, I want to give them credit. San Antonio played well, but I think there was a moment late in the 4th or maybe the first overtime where it was like a 10-0 run by OKC and then a 7-0 run by OKC, and San Antonio didn't back down. I mean, that crazy three, and then some other timely baskets. But you know, playing them it's not gonna be easy. I was like, that team is stacked.
They're for sure stacked, and their big thing is they got to have Chet show up for this thing. I mean, I know it's like a big narrative that like Wemby owns this guy because, he's not proven that he doesn't. Yeah, he's kind of showing that 8 points. That's it. Like he's had such a good series, like playoff run so far, and like 8 points. You had 24 from Shea and 26 from J. Will on his first game back, which is pretty good. You just got nothing.
Better.
31 from Caruso, which is not going to happen again.
That's the X factor, though. That's what I'm talking. So, but here, at least from my point of view, that's why I say their team. I think they did a great job of taking Shea out the game. They are jumping on that or doubling it quick, and he's finding a hard time, passing out of that. But there's always gonna, at least from what I see, whether it's Caruso went a crazy this game. They're gonna have McCain off the bench, gonna have a crazy game here and there. Like they're gonna have someone who can step up. And not to say that I'm rooting for them, but I can be realistic too. I see the guys who are ready to step up. I think J Dub is gonna have a crazy game next game too.
Yeah, I say J. Will. I think the first time, man, it's tough having.
I get
two
them
guys
confused.
with the
I
same
just
name.
started to lock into who's who for real.
Yeah,
But yeah, J Dub is the one who came off injury, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, right, yeah.
They can correct me in the comments.
They might. Ben, do you have anything?
Yeah, so I think the key elements to me are, obviously Fox being out in game one. It's kind of a momentum shift right off the bat for the Spurs in that, they're preparing for the series to have their point guard, and to come off, first game and not have him. Obviously, you think everything's working in the Thunder's favor, coming off 2 sweeps. But, I mean, the Spurs kept pace just fine. Honestly, they limited Shea as best they could and did a great job at that. And so I think in some ways, it's almost scary that you don't have your point guard in Fox and you're still able to beat this number one team that's had 2 sweeps. So, you could say, obviously, we think Shea's going to be much better moving forward in the series and shoot better, be a little bit more efficient with the ball. So I think that's what makes it so balanced, to DJ's point, is that it's going to be a back and forth because there's always going to be someone else stepping up when one guy either not available or he's not having the best night. So be really curious to see how this plays out, but I don't think there's going to be any blowouts. Should be a very, very competitive back and forth series.
No, I don't think any. I hope they don't have any blowouts. I was nervous that the first game might be a blowout just because, I don't know, maybe OKC comes out and just, they're at home and all this stuff. It kind of happens that way sometimes.
Nerves a little bit, and you never know.
You never know. So, so I thought maybe there'd be a blowout that way, but I'm glad it wasn't. And I'm interested to see. I mean, the Spurs have kind of adopted that philosophy, it seems like, that Shea's going to come off something, drive right, it doesn't matter. And they're going to throw Wemby right at him all the time. They're going to show him hard, and then they're going to say, hopefully Caruso or, Cason Wallace or X player you want to put there, Dort,
whoever,
doesn't hit shots. And even though Caruso did hit shots, they still lost. So it's kind of like, it's kind of an interesting thing. But transition over to the series that is playing tonight at 7, which hasn't quite started yet. Actually, maybe it's about to start here soon. We got the Knicks and the Cavs, which the Cavs were kind of a surprise for me to get there, but I'll let y'all.
Really?
I just thought I was pretty high on Detroit, and then they decided that they just had nobody else except Cade to show up to the playoffs. So it's kind of like I didn't see that coming. But anyway, first thoughts on that series. We'll start with you, Ben.
Yeah, so I actually wasn't too surprised about this one. I think I picked the Cavs twice in our predictions previously, and so I was, kind of holding out hope that they would get the job done. And, obviously finishing off Detroit in 7 is a big step for them, and kind of the next step for Hardin and Mitchell, both getting into the ECF conference finals, either conference. First time for Mitchell, and I think maybe second time for Hardin. So not super surprising there. Obviously, I did think that the Celtics would be there rather than the Knicks. So didn't get it completely right, but I think the star power of the Cavs really got them through, and Hardin was really carried in the majority of the series. He really showed up maybe two of the games. Obviously, Game 7 didn't really have much to do with them winning, so it seems like Jared Allen is Game 7. Jared Allen is the new the playoff P, or I guess the anti-playoff P. So I think the Cavs are going to be in a tough position here with the Knicks. The Knicks have been playing really well and may match up even better than Detroit, just having more star power. And I think we're really going to have to ask a lot from Hardin, and the rest of his team won't be able to carry him quite as much as I think they did against Detroit. So be curious to see how this one plays out.
No, for sure. DJ?
Yeah, let me say I wasn't surprised to see the Cavs here. Similar to Ben, I also thought Boston was going to be here, though, so that was a crazy one to see go out early. My hot take, I will say, is after the first round of playoffs with the Pistons, I told my coworker, I was like, it's fool's gold. I was like, they are not the real deal, at least not this year. And here's the thing, like, I'm big on Cade. I was watching him kind of, in the last couple seasons. He's an Arlington native, so I'm kind of rooting for him also. But yeah, I don't know specifically what it was, but I don't think that first series should even went as long as it did. And after that, I was like, I don't know if they got it. Now, granted, they made a great series out of the last round. Of course, the Cavs, squeaked it out. Crazy plays by who am I forgetting right now? Jared Allen and
Evan Mobley.
Spida.
Oh,
yeah, Evan Mobley. Okay,
Mitchell.
yeah, another one. But yeah, Mitchell especially too. So to watch him go off, which I expect him to do, he needs to be a little more consistent. But the way that they're playing right now, I'm kind of leaning toward them more so than the Knicks. And that's more because I'm kind of sleeping on the Knicks. I'll be honest, I'm not watching them in detail like that, so I don't know their schemes. I'm kind of going to be paying attention and rewatching this first series or this first game of the series to kind of see what's going to be what. But leading into it, I'm going Cavs.
That's interesting. I don't know. The Knicks, they look good, man. They look good. But the hard part about the Knicks is they kind of breeze through the first round series, and then they get a banged up Sixers team that like took every ounce of gas they had to get past Boston, and then they get into the now they're here and they're trying to, like, I don't know, they haven't played in 10 days, and so it's kind of interesting. How do y'all feel about the gap there, like not playing for 10 days? Do you think that's an advantage or do you think that's a disadvantage?
So I've always kind of been firmly on the camp that the more rest you have is a disadvantage. I think, especially in the playoffs where rhythm is so important, momentum, and to have, they're going to have like 10 days off, to where I feel like that's a little bit much. Maybe 2 or 3, 4 days of rest is nice, get your body right. The only thing in this case is that the Knicks will get probably OG and back because of, having the time off. So in that sense, it does work in their favor. But generally speaking, I'm definitely more on the side that you want to maintain your rhythm and keep playing. And, guys are banged up, and this is the time of year where you just got to get right and keep it going. So I think in this case, it kind of benefits the Cavs to just keep riding. And the Knicks, might have a little rust because of that.
I agree. Let me say, I think 10 games is a little excessive on the rest. Like, you definitely want your players to be rested, and if you got guys coming off of injury or nursing an injury, then you definitely want them to have those extra days. But when it comes to the playoffs, rhythm and momentum, those are big factors. Like, if you are, not back to back, but if you're playing every other day and you feel like you're on fire and you're hot, 10 days can be a long time to kind of like throw off your rhythm. You're going to jump right back into it. Of course, the intensity, the adrenaline and all that stuff that builds up. But, Sometimes, at least in the past, we see where that first quarter may not be as sharp as it usually is while they get it back together. I'm thinking 10 days is probably a lot, but we'll see how they respond.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to see how it goes. I don't really. A lot of times in series that I think might be a little close, I like to lean towards like who has the better coach and who can coach them through like these kind of series like this. But I don't have faith in either of these guys. So I don't really know if Mike Brown is the answer or I just don't. I don't really trust him. So it'll be interesting.
So did you see what Atkinson said after the series with Detroit? In the presser, he said something like he was talking about Asar Thompson and basically their game plan. The last couple games of the series was if anybody gets the ball and Asar's on you, pass the ball away. I don't care what's going on. I don't care who it is, Hardin, Mitchell, anybody. You get the ball, Asar's on you, let's go the other way. I'm like, that's the kind of coaching that you're counting on carrying you in the series. It doesn't make you feel great, does it?
Their other game plan was if he got the ball on offense, let him shoot. Let him do whatever he wants to because
he can back off that.
Can't score to save his life. So neither of them can. I was listening to, I think it was like Brian Scalabrine was on one of the broadcasts, and he was like, I don't know what these guys do in the off season. Like they just get in the gym and shoot the ball. Like what are y'all
going
doing?
at him like that? No, that's tough.
Well, have you seen? I think Ben and I have talked about this on this podcast, but have you seen the video of the twins working with Mike Miller on form shooting?
No, I haven't, but that's a good teacher.
These guys, this was like last off season. They couldn't hit the rim, and they're form shooting from the block. And it was like, what have y'all done for 19 years of your life? This far. I mean, I get it. You're athletic, and like I understand that can carry a lot of guys really far. But like, at some point, you think somebody would be like, "Hey, maybe we should be able to shoot at least 15 footers." Like I don't know. Like
they need to find who's Aaron Gordon shooting coach because he made a crazy leap.
Yeah, sure did.
He's one of those players where adding that jumper really makes him dynamic. Aside from the injuries, if he stays healthy, he's one of those players too that can be an X factor in the game. You got to watch out for. You don't necessarily plan for him, hitting a bunch of threes, but when he's hot, he turns it on. So they need to get with that guy.
Yeah, at the expense of his hamstrings, but it's okay.
Yeah, rough hamstring and knees. They get to you. Ask Blake Griffin about that one.
Yeah. Blake Griffin, underrated Detroit Piston years, dude. He was freaking awesome.
So that's let me say, this is my beef with the Pistons. I feel like they wasted those years, man.
They sure did.
I like Blake Griffin as a player, and though, I'm a Laker, it was exciting to watch those Lob City days.
Yeah.
And so when he got traded, kind of bounced around and ended up there, I was hoping that they would, at least do something to help him out, but it was a wrap at that point. The knees were done.
Yeah. So, but that kind of wraps up playoff talk, I guess. Kind of. We can move on to the next segment. We're gonna break down the Lakers, and we've done this. We did this 2 weeks ago, but I made an AI prompt and had the AI be the GM for the Lakers, and they kind of went through the offseason, did some free agency moves. They tried to make a couple trades. They picked a guy 25th in the draft. They picked somebody, so we'll go through it a little bit, and I'll see what y'all think. But to start off. I'll ask you. So, DeAndre Ayton in this scenario opts into his contract of 8.1, which I don't know why he wouldn't. He had a horrible season, so he'll take whatever money he can get, unless he still thinks he's a $30 million player. And then they have Marcus Smart opt out, which I'd like to get y'all's opinion on that, and if you think that would be good or bad or whatever. Opt out of a $5.3 million.
Yeah, let me see. I'm gathering my thoughts. So you think that he would opt out and ask for more? Is that what we're leaning in? Or just in general?
I think that he's just going to opt out and see what he can get. Maybe he's back with the Lakers. Maybe he finds something else. I don't know. He had a good playoff run, and like back into the season was really good. So I think he has a chance to make more than $5 million or whatever. But
I definitely think he has a chance to make more. If he does opt out, I don't think that he would have a hard time getting picked up by anybody. He's one of those players where, you kind of want somebody to bring a little leadership and a little toughness to your team, but that actually contributes to. Do I want him to start? Not necessarily, but I do think he is a great backup option. So personally, I would like to keep him, but if he does opt out, he is definitely going to contribute wherever he goes.
no, I agree. The problem I have with him on the Lakers in particular, which is kind of hard, is that I like him next to Luka, and I like him next to Reaves, but you cannot have Luka, Reaves, and him because it just doesn't. He's too small. He's not a real point guard. Like it's just like it doesn't seem like it fits well that 3 guard lineup. I didn't really watch that 3 guard lineup very much. I don't even know if it did happen very much, but I don't know if y'all. Yeah, I don't know if you have any insight on that one. If you like that kind of thing.
So that's what I said. I like him in the second group. So if we're giving Luka a rest and we're running Reaves and Smart together, I like that lineup. I feel like we can do a little bit more with that. Even if it's Reaves primary and then him secondary, the size is definitely an issue. But I think laterally his defense kind of makes up for it. If he can stop you early, then hopefully on the backside we can rotate quick enough to pick up whatever slack he's letting pass. But I like him with the second group, not necessarily with the first. So I'd have to agree with you on that. I don't like the 3 of them in a lineup together.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, just to kind of preface it, watching Luka play, you want him bringing down the ball or no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every
so
single
that's
time.
what I was going to say. Every single time. So that's why, if anybody, I got to ask him.
If Luka's on the floor, I want him to have the ball in his hands. No doubt. But anyway, some unrestricted guys that y'all have to deal with is Rui Hachimura, who I like, Luke Kennard, which we'll get into, Maxi Kleber, and Jackson Hayes. Of those guys, I imagine you're fine with Maxi leaving or probably retiring because I don't think anybody's picking him up. Yeah, there you go.
Like it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can exit stage left. We don't need him on here.
What a fall off, man.
Respectfully.
He was so good in Dallas, and then just like, I don't know. The last year in Dallas was bad, but that's probably, that's why we traded him to y'all for AD. I don't know what to tell you, but no.
Yeah, he's one of those players where whenever, like, I think I saw a graphic and it was like breaking down the like free agents, player option, team option guys, like the full like row, and I'm looking just to kind of see like who I would want and who I don't. For sure, I think he can go.
Right. No, I think that was a pretty.
Cry over that one.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty easy one. What about Jackson Hayes? What's y'all's opinion on that?
This is where it gets a little tougher. Or Ben, you want to go first? I'll let you go.
Yeah, this is Ben go first.
Yeah, so Jackson Hayes, I think he's definitely an intriguing player for the Lakers to keep. He's a great pick and roll guy, decent defender. He's got a lot of length, got a lot of bounce. So I feel like he does play well with Luka, especially off the ball and getting him in the pick and roll. But I do think he's replaceable, especially from a contract standpoint. There's going to be a couple guys that we can talk about later that I think they'll be able to kind of plug and play to where I don't think they necessarily have to keep him. I don't hate him. I think he has a lot to offer them. We saw some good moments with him during the regular season where he can certainly be useful, but I'd kind of like to see them go elsewhere just to bring a little bit more variety, especially considering, if Ayton stays, that I think they're going to need a different type of big man to kind of use in those spots. So I would probably at the end of the day like to see him go.
I like Jackson Hayes a lot. He's what I want DeAndre Ayton to be as far as like a skill set. My problem with Jackson Hayes oftentimes comes from like size and not like height, but like when it comes to the bigger centers in the league, and an easy one I always look at is like a Jokic matchup. You know, when you have like the size on you and then also the height, like he gets bullied on defense. I was like, he's a great pairing with Luka. Like you definitely want a lob threat, you know, a rim runner, someone who's going to go hard and try to rebound hard too for you. But on defense, I feel like that's where it becomes somewhat of a liability. If we are to let him go, though I would be sad, I definitely see it, you know, opening up, you know, a way to get some more. I would like to keep him and then, you know, see what we can do with Aiden or see if there's some other pickups out there that we could get or try to trade for.
Yeah, you could
As
be
far
like,
as-
you could be like
No.
when the Sixers traded Kyle Korver for a printer. You might be able to get that.
Get some money off of it.
Yeah.
Get some cash options. But with Rui, nah. So I actually do want to keep Rui.
Yeah.
Rui had a hell of a season and an even bigger, let me say, playoff run. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he has like the highest shooting percentage from three, like playoff history. Like it's a crazy run to be on. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we need to fact check it, but
Nah.
he definitely had a crazy playoff run. So
Wow.
with him being more consistent, because that was always my thing in the past. Like if you would have asked me 2 years ago or even a year ago if I wanted to keep Rui, I probably would have said you can let him go. But after this season, he proved himself to be a little more consistent. It's definitely why I do want to keep him around. Now, kind of to Ben's point, there's definitely some other guys that, you know, if we do offload Rui, you know, that contract being what it is, where we can bring in, I'm not completely against it, but I really have to see, you know, what those options are.
Yeah, for sure. Last guy was Luke Kennard, which I 100% think y'all should bring back. I mean, I know he doesn't do much on the defensive end, but he's got good size and positional size, I should say. And then y'all need shooting badly. So
Yeah, I think us letting him go, I think you have the highest shooting percentage in the league.
yeah, this year, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
54% or
us
something
letting
like
him go would be smart, especially like he proved himself in the last series to be, you know, pretty, or I'm saying the Houston series to be pretty versatile. Like, you know, I didn't, not to say I wasn't familiar with his game, but you know, him being that guy who shoots threes, that's what you're known for. So to see him kind of go off the dribble and get in the paint and, you know, get these little floaters going and stuff like that. One, I was pleasantly surprised, and I would be happy to have him back.
No, I think he's a great fit for y'all. The problem is y'all don't have his bird rights, which I don't know if y'all are familiar with how that works, but like if you sign him back, if a team signs him, you can match, but you can't go over the salary cap to keep him. So if a team decides they want to sign him to a whatever X amount of deal, like 20 million, let's say $20 million deal, y'all can't really do anything about that. So it's interesting.
We're gonna see. And I was joking with my coworkers. I told them I was gonna do this podcast today, and they're gonna grill me on my Lakers roster. I said my Laker delusion is that I'm like, oh, we're fine. We can just keep everybody. We just needed Luka back.
Yeah,
But no.
yeah. Honestly, it does help. That's for sure. Getting Luka back, but
I know there's definitely going to be some changes made, so I'm kind of excited to see where it goes to. Though.
no, for sure. So moving on to the draft portion of this, I don't know. Are you up on the prospects for the draft, DJ? We kind of had this conversation last week, but
I'd be lying if I said yes. So
right.
You got to educate me today.
I mean, 25th pick. It's not bad. It's a super deep draft. The AI had y'all picking Henry Vasar from UNC. He's 7'2". Oh well, 7 foot tall, 7'2" wingspan. Shot 42% from three, on 94 attempts, which whatever that means. But definitely fits what y'all need. He's a big center, can space the floor, can sets good screens, good rebounder. Like, I think it fits perfectly with kind of what y'all need. And then, like you said, if they're going to lose Jackson Hayes, it's just kind of a good guy to step in and hopefully grow. He's not a lob threat, I'll tell you that much, but he's he brings a different dynamic, being like a floor spacer type, that y'all haven't had. So
Shoots the ball well, like mid range, 15-footer.
Floater. He's got a little bit of a floater in the paint and stuff like that, but he had to show a lot in the NCAA tournament because they didn't have Caleb Wilson, so he was their number one guy, and he ended up having I think he averaged 25 points a game in the couple of games that they played. So he showed that he can score. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be anywhere near that in the pros, but
we know the jump to the NBA is a little different.
Right. So, but overall, I think that was a solid pick. Ben, do you have something about that?
Yeah, so Henry Visar, he's actually an Arizona guy, which, just for the first year or so of his career, and then he transferred to North Carolina. But, funny story, when he was with us, he was, 7 foot, maybe 150, 165, just a little twig, and then goes to Carolina and beefs up. He's probably put on 40, 50 pounds of muscle, so definitely developed his game a lot more. He's a lot better outside shooter now. He's got a little bit of pick and pop, and with Arizona, he's more or less just a paint guy and just shoot little bunny hooks and stuff like that. But he's definitely come a long way. He went from Henry to Hank, as they like to say, going to North Carolina. So definitely could see him being useful in the Lakers offense, and kind of the mold of the player that they need, especially to replace some of the guys that they have now if they go that route.
What's his name too? I need to.
Henry Vesar. It's HenryVeesaar.
Gotcha.
You would have never spelled that right.
Nah.
I guess my question to you, DJ, is a center what you like for the Lakers to go after kind of in the draft, or do you want them to go a different direction?
It's kind of either between that or a wing. I'm more so leaning a center, but you say I hate that Aiden's season ended the way it did, because I felt like it could have been promising. The way it did end, where it's we're in these big moments and we can't play you, that does not give me any confidence in you at all.
Dude.
So I think we do need to go center first, at least.
I thought JJ Redick was just going to tell him to leave the building. Just get out of the whole Staples Center, or whatever they call it now.
Yeah, it's a crypto
arena.
Yeah, I like JJ, and I'm hoping between him and the GM that they can really find some pieces that fit. But I mean, the way y'all are describing this guy, I think this is a good direction to go in.
Yeah, for sure. I think wing wise, if a guy I don't think he will after his combine, but there's a guy, Cam Carr, who I don't think he's going to drop that far, but he had 30 points in a scrimmage at the combine. He measured a 7'3" wingspan at 6'8" or something like that, 6'6" maybe, somewhere between there. But his wingspan was insane. His measurables were nuts. Anyway, the guy like that, or Dalen Swain. I like Dalen Swain a lot from Texas. He's the same way, super athletic, just bouncy. Kind of needs to develop more of a consistent jump shot, but for the most part, I think he can fit well. Definitely a 3-and-D kind of right out the gate, which is what has historically, as Dallas Maverick fans, has shown that is the way to build a team around Luka. And if the GM of the Lakers is going to hold true, where they say they're going to put a team around Luka like the Mavs did, then maybe it's something like that. But we'll see. I was going to ask you. You brought it up. JJ Redick. Do you like him as a coach? He kind of was just out of nowhere. LeBron was like, "Hey man, I like this guy. He does a podcast with me." I think he knows ball pretty
Come
well.
on.
Like, can he be the coach? And so it was definitely I'm not gonna lie, that was a LeBron hire. So I'll ask you about that.
At first, just right out the gate, I agree. I think, I definitely think having at the time your star player be, best friends
Yeah.
with the podcast guy is going to get you a job. So yes. Now, do I think it was a bad hire or like is he unfit? Absolutely not. I actually do like JJ a lot. We needed sometimes when like the ship's going down, you got to change direction. So we're trying to, whether it's bringing new players or sometimes it's to bring in a new coach. I think bringing in JJ, his intensity is motivating to the players. I think he has I think we have a roster that actually does believe the things that he's telling them. Now, do I think he's perfect? No. Not having Rui on the floor when we needed three, and I was like, what? Like, what are we doing? There's definitely some moments where I'm like, JJ, dude, what are you doing? But back-to-back 50-plus win seasons is pretty good. Like we're just looking at it from like a stats perspective. I definitely think that we've made the best out of that. I do like JJ as a coach. I'm hoping that he sticks around.
All right, cool. Well, I'll take that. So this thing, so like I said, I prompted it to do a couple, like if it made sense for the team to make a couple trades. And I think this first one you'll like. The trade is the Lakers are trading Dalton Connect, the rights to Henry Vasar, who they drafted, and a 2028 top 4 protected, which I don't know can happen anymore. It's kind of confusing with the way that stuff happens. First round pick for Walker Kessler from the Jazz. And then they turn around and sign Walker Kessler to 4 years, $23 million a year. But anyway, yeah. Do you like that trade?
Initially, yes, I actually do. I think the size that he brings is definitely going to be like the upside in that. Do I think he's like the guy? I don't know. I kind of want to see the chemistry that he would have, and if he's not gonna lose the ball. Those like moments where I'm like passing in the paint, and he's just like, I've seen a couple clips like that. I mean, we're dealing with that now, so I was like, I don't know if I want to repeat that, but initially, yeah, I think that wouldn't be a bad trade. I like Walker Kessler.
Ben, how do you feel about that one?
I mean, yeah, I do like Walker Kessler. I think he's obviously a high-level rebounder and great interior defender. Maybe not quite as big a body as you need against somebody like Jokic, but certainly amongst the centers that are available, I think he would definitely be a great get for them. I think they'd obviously have to trade for him, but like him as a player, I don't necessarily see the Jazz wanting to go that route. But in a perfect world, I would love the fit, especially for what you're giving up. I mean, Connect offers you very little, and the pick, and that's you're gonna have to take on the contract, which they'll have to probably get rid of some other players to do that or kind of make that work. But certainly, if you can go out and get one of the better centers out there for what they need, he's not gonna spread the floor as much as you might want, which can be a downside. But they definitely need defense and rebounding, so I could see that being a great get for them.
No, I liked it. I don't know why, honestly, the Jazz do it in particular. I guess they get 2 first-round picks, which is nice, but like, what do they care about Dalton Connect? Like, he's just going to sit on their bench. And I don't think the Jazz I don't think they would do this preseason because, I mean, the way that they've kind of structured their team, it's him, it's Jaren Jackson Jr. and Lauri Markkanen, and then whoever they draft this year. So it's like, I imagine they're probably going to do some trade to get AJ DeBonsa. So it's like, I don't see why that they do this, but for the Lakers, I'm all in for that. Like, upgrade the center position. You have your starting center right away. Like, no doubts about it. Like, you don't have to worry about not getting defensive rebounds and having some guy out there stumbling around looking like he's trying to get defensive rebounds. So it's like, I don't know. The second trade here has the Rockets getting Jared Vanderbilt and a 2027 second for Tari Eason from the Rockets. Who I don't know if y'all are familiar with Tari Eason, but I'll let Ben go first on this one.
Yeah, so we like to call him Tari next season because he's always going to be better next season, supposedly. But no, I think that's kind of the 3-and-D type guy you're looking for if he's available. I don't see why the Rockets would not necessarily re-sign him, but if they can go get a player like him, especially giving up Vanderbilt, who doesn't give you much on offense, and second round pick, that's nothing. You're probably going to get him for 18, 20-ish million, I would, kind of guess. So, again, you're probably going to end up losing somebody like Rui or Jackson Hayes or both or Kennard, something like that. So, going to have to get creative as well. But if that's the kind of, wing player that you're looking for if you're a Lakers fan, I would think. So, be happy to go out and get Eason.
Every season next season. I think Tari Eason might be a free agent. So, it would just be to get something back for him because they think they're going to lose him anyway. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I have to agree. I think I definitely wouldn't say no. In my perfect vision of, realistically though, bringing in that archetype, like between like Eason and then I was talking about like an Evan Mobley type the other day too, is someone I would love to have on my team. Can kind of, I won't say positionless, but you can kind of float around the 3 and the 4, stretch out the floor, still play great defense, and move with the quicker guys who would play the 3. I would love to have him on my team. Yeah, he'd be a great pickup.
Yeah, again, I don't know why the Rockets do this because they're trading a guy who can kind of shoot and play decent, good defense for a guy that plays good defense and can't shoot the ball to save his life. Yeah. And for a Rockets team that nobody on their team can shoot except for Reed Shepherd, and he can't dribble a basketball. So it's like, I don't know why they would do this. Like, it makes no sense to me, but this is what AI is. So it's like, I don't know. We can't trust everything it says. Right. I think it's interesting. I think that a wrinkle to this could be like if they do like, I don't know if this has ever happened before, like a 2-way sign-in trade. So like, they sign Tari Eason to like a $15 million deal, and then the Lakers sign Luka Kennard to something like that, and then they trade that way. Because then the Rockets get a bona fide shooter that they need,
That's what they
and
need.
The Lakers get Tari Eason, who's kind of a 2-way kind of shooter, kind of defensive guy. So I think that could be interesting. But now I had a few trade ideas that I kind of wrote down. I know, Ben, you had some stuff too, so I'll go over a couple. And then I'll throw it over to you. But let me get your reaction on this, DJ. So what about y'all send out Vandy, which is Vanderbilt, Laravia, Connect, and a first for Miles Turner.
Done
Deal, yeah.
I will take that deal, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was remind me where is Turner playing this year?
Milwaukee.
Yeah, I was shocked that Indy let him go to begin with. Like,
it's a free agent.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. But yeah, I don't know exactly what they were thinking on that. Maybe the numbers didn't match up for them or whatever. But yeah, I would definitely take Turner, especially for those guys. That was kind of easy.
Yeah.
Because
right.
Let me say, run that back. Who was in that trade one more time?
Vanderbilt. Yeah, right. Basically, it's Vanderbilt, Laravia, Connect, and a first.
Yeah, let me say, Vandy. I love actually, like, he's a great locker room guy. I think he does bring that toughness that I was kind of talking about earlier. So I do like having him on the team for like a winning aspect. Like, are you actually contributing on the floor? He can be traded. I wouldn't be too upset about it. Laravia disappointed me, man. He came in, and I know some people were like, who is this guy? And then other people were like, just wait, like he could be nice. And then he showed flashes of it, like dude was doing good. And then I don't know, some point in the second half of the season or later on in the season, he forgot how to shoot. And if you're out there barely playing defense and you're not shooting, you're Vanderbilt. Like, I don't need you out here. Like you can go sit down. So, yeah.
You might as well play Vanderbilt. He's going to play defense.
Yeah, at least that.
Two more here. One of them's kind of a joke for me, but this one's legit. So y'all send out Austin Reaves, and you get back Jalen Duren in 2 seconds.
Ooh. I would love to have Duren on my team, but...
And you got to sign him because he's a free agent. He's a restricted free agent, I think, this year. He's probably going to be... If he gets all NBA this year, you got to sign him to like a full max deal, probably. But you're already going to have to sign Austin Reaves.
I don't think I'm giving up Reaves.
No? Really?
No. Yeah. I think this is where my loyalty like comes in. Homegrown. I don't think I can give up Reaves.
Oh man, my next trade's going to be disappointing for you then.
Well, let's see though. Let's see.
y'all give up Reaves, and Dallas gives you Gafford, Clay, and AJ Johnson, which AJ Johnson is just a filler, but you get Clay and Gaff. And Dallas gets Austin Reaves, which they should have got a year ago. So everything's right in the world.
Thank you, Nico. So, look, Gafford's the only one I really want in that scenario. I don't really want Clay anymore. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, maybe. But, I can't give up Austin Reaves for it. I'm going to say it. I washed Clay and an extra pick. But nah, I think I got to stick with him. Just based on the playoffs were rough, coming off of injury and not having played for like 4 or 5 weeks, like that was hard to watch. But even coming back in, I think, we had a game where he had like 30 something or maybe just 30 or so. But seeing what he did early in the season, just him and Luka alone, this is when like LeBron was still hurt. That shows me some promise. So I like that pairing. I like it on the court and off the court too, because they kind of have that camaraderie building, that kind of brotherhood situation going. So yeah, I can't give them up for that.
Does it worry you at all that Austin Reaves and Luka, not only do they not play defense, they don't even act like they want to try to play defense. It's like this is where everybody argues with me about Kyrie, is because like I get it, Kyrie's small guard, not the greatest defender of all time, he's not gonna lock anybody up, but he gives real effort on the defensive end, and so it's like I don't know if I want that pairing with the two guys that absolutely don't even try.
So my rebuttal to that is, I think, and it's not a every play thing, but I think Luka gets a bad rap on the not playing defense thing.
I will agree. Okay.
And that, yeah. So, and I don't think it's just like he's a Laker now, so I see it thing. I've always kind of thought this, but, the overall picture is that, like, Luka whines, Luka doesn't play defense. When your offense is such the focal point that your defense doesn't match it, then it becomes, like, a detrimental thing. But, no, I watch, I won't say every game, but I've watched, like, 90% of Laker games this season. And Luka does this thing where, like, when he's getting beat by a guy, he doesn't necessarily, like, open up, but he kind of does this thing where he, like, turns his shoulder and, like, backs into him. And at first, I was like, I was like, what is this? And then I was like, hold on, wait, it's working.
It kind of works.
So I don't have too much worry, but it's mainly because I think it's more of a roster build thing. Yeah. On the sense that if you have a bigger guard who's beating like Austin Reaves off the dribble, then I need someone there to rotate big enough. And that's kind of where, like, having a Aiden in the paint or a Jackson Hayes or any one of the possible guys who are coming in to kind of stop that, give them some time to rotate back over or pick that up. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Ben, did you have a couple?
Yeah, so here's kind of one, just more, kind of out of the blue. But so if you're giving up Reeves, but would you use something like Reeves for, say, a top four pick? I don't think Devontae's going one. I think Peterson's going two. I don't think those two teams are going to necessarily give up their picks. But three or four, at Memphis at three, Chicago at four. I can see, maybe they really want Reeves, kind of build around their franchise for whatever reason, and they give you the third or fourth pick. Is that enough to move the needle for you to kind of start thinking, maybe we get one of those young guys, pair him with Luka and LeBron, and try and get over the hump? What are your thoughts on that?
That's a hard sell for me. I think I'm more inclined to give up Reeves for someone who is, a little more established, just because at least with Reeves, like you've seen the improvement, you kind of know what you're getting. With the prospect, it's kind of just that like these guys are, coming off of crazy college careers, right? But it's like, are you proven yet? Are you going to actually be able to do it? Is it going to translate well? And those unknowns for me are a little hard to give up. I'm not a like if we're looking at the depth chart and everything, and we're making trades, I don't have Reeves as an untouchable. Luka's my untouchable and the only one there. Everybody else, we talk to me and see what we can do about it. But he would be hard for me to give up if I'm not getting a star at least. I would say superstar, but at least a star in that sense. I would need back for Reeves, just because the promise that he's shown this far, and then dude is still very young, which means like you can get better, you can build with Luka on that. It would be hard for me to give him up for a pick.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have any trade ideas, Ben?
Yeah, so not necessarily trades, but more like free agent pickups. There's not as much available, but if we're thinking, probably Aiton's going to sign. He'll be the player option. I don't see why he wouldn't take that. It's probably the most he's going to get out there. But let's say they get rid of Jackson Hayes. They're looking for another center, backup center type role. Two guys that I keep seeing in talks are Robert Williams and Mitchell Robinson. And just curious if either of those intrigue you. I could see both of them being decent fits with what y'all are looking for. But what are your thoughts on those two guys?
If I had to pick, I'm definitely leaning more Robert in that case, but
You got to deal with that injury history, though. He hasn't. I don't think he's played a whole season yet in his career. So
yeah. And that's kind of the downside, one of those like, been there, done that type of thing. Which is, as much as your upside is, it's like, are we gonna actually be on the floor to show, the greatness? Now, tell me again, who's the other guy we mentioned?
yeah, Mitchell Robinson, he's a super rebounder, good rebounder, 7 foot. The problem with Mitchell Robinson is
Oh yeah.
he gets
He plays
played off the
hard.
floor sometimes, and because he career like 40% free throw shooter, so like it's tough. But anyway, I'll let you go, DJ.
No. You're kind of leaning into what I'm thinking already. I do like the toughness that he brings, and I think he'll be great on defense too. The offensive side of the ball, I'm a little worried about if we were to have him on the floor. Those situations, late game, like, are you actually going to be able to be on the floor and be that guy who can, play both sides of the ball? That would kind of worry me a little bit. But does he have any major injuries?
He's
that I could think of?
no, not really. I mean, yeah, he's he's an amazing rebounder. He's probably other than like maybe Andre Drummond, still at like however old he is, probably second best rebounder in the whole NBA. Offensive rebound, defensive rebound, doesn't matter. Like he's all over it all the time. So
He's the type of player where, like I said, I love his energy and his motor, which is, kind of the opposite of Aiton. I know he's gotten those those critiques where it's like, are you trying? Do you want to be here? Type of thing. So I don't think we'd have to worry about, that narrative or that type of issue if we were to get him. Like I said, just offensively, I'm leaning the other way, but I could definitely see the upside in having Robinson.
So one other guy I thought of too was, and this is probably more out of the ballpark just because of what he's making, but was Isaiah Hartenstein on the Thunder. If I were a Lakers fan, I'd love to have Hartenstein. I think he's probably the best of all of those guys and kind of combines a lot of the different strengths that you're looking for from him. Stretches the floor a bit. He does the dirty work in the paint, getting rebounds, defense. Not as much of a shooter, but he's gonna kind of play that role that is gonna complement Ayton pretty well. So if you can get him, it's just he's gonna cost you, unfortunately. But that would be probably my ideal candidate if I'm looking for that guy.
Getting paid $30 million this year.
Ooh, is he?
So,
okay, I didn't know that.
But it was an overpay at the time, and everybody knew it because the OKC Thunder just had the money at that point, and they were like, we need a center, so they just absolutely blew him out of the water, and so I think it's well known that he's not going to get that again. So
he's actually one that came to mind earlier when we were talking about the possible draft pick at number 25. When you were describing his game and we were talking about like the little floater, when I asked about the 15, I started thinking Hartenstein. Like he's got the size, he's got the touch. I would love to have him on the team too.
Yeah, for sure. There's a couple of free agent guards I saw that may be a little too. One of them's probably for sure going to be too expensive. Norm Powell from the Heat. I think he would be great, but the problem is like if you're going to stick with this Luka Reaves backcourt, you got to find people that are willing to come off the bench, and I don't think Norm Powell is. So other guys are like Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't know what he has left, but you're getting
I'll pass on that one.
Yeah,
I could see it happening, but even
no defense guard, so it's like tough. And then Quentin Grimes was another one that he's bounced around, and he keeps expecting to get this $20 million payday that he's just never going to get, and so he's a free agent this year. So maybe Quentin Grimes will be another one. But those are the
I think he
guards.
would fit in nicely. I think that would be a good pickup too. I can see it working.
For sure.
Look, let me ask you two. Or I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one other guard I was thinking of, who should be now available, was from the Hornets, was Kobe White, and I mean that guy, he can light it up quick, and offensively, I think that's exactly what y'all would want coming in. Can handle the ball, probably lead the second unit, or stagger minutes with Luka and Reaves handling the ball. So I would kind of highly covet Kobe White if I were the Lakers. I don't know what your thoughts are on him and if you think it'd be a good fit.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree. I was about to say, I'm trying to think of what's the downside. I'm trying to
No
be
defense.
even about it.
No.
That's what I was about to say. I think with even with the first unit, but I think with the second unit, he could definitely. I think he takes care of the ball well enough to get by, especially in those like non-Luka Reaves minutes, assuming that they don't split them. Yeah, no, I could definitely do it because he attacks the basket well, knockdown shooter for the most part. I think he had a pretty good shooting year. Definitely a good series. But yeah, I could see him being a good fit.
You had a question for us?
Yeah, no, so I'm not sure, Ben, who you root for on the regular, but of course, Ryan being the Mavs fan that he is, what do you think we need around Luka? Like what is the Luka blueprint?
Oh man. I don't know if the Mavericks ever figured it out, but
Western Conference Finals.
You need honestly to play around Luka. You need high level shooters, like guys that are 3-and-D to its core, because Luka needs a lot of space inside. So you can't have guys that clog the paint and stuff like that. And then you need a rim rolling, like hard rim rolling center. Guys like, Ayton is not a rim roller. He barely even really sets picks. So it's like Luka made Dwight Powell have a 12-year career, honestly. Like, if Luka Doncic does not get drafted to the Mavs, I think Dwight Powell is probably like sitting on his couch somewhere, like doing nothing. Which he's a free agent this year, so maybe. But anyway, but the thing about Dwight Powell and what his like go-to like skill is he sets hard screens and rolls to the basket really hard. So, and then you already have it, but yeah, a secondary creator is good because then Luka can kind of play off ball. He doesn't have to. At the time, he was he wasn't in the best shape when he was with Dallas. Let's just say it. Like let's just say it. He's in better shape now. He's in better shape now, and I'm jealous of what y'all get to experience. But thanks, Nico. But it's like having that secondary creator is important because then he can like take a couple possessions off. His usage is always like number 1 or number 2 in the NBA, so it's super important to be able to like get him off the ball a little bit, let him have a couple, couple possessions to just kind of sit in the corner or something like that. Be a threat, but not really go there.
Gotcha.
That's kind of where I see he's most effective.
Yeah, so for me, I feel like, I agree with all what Bryan had said. I feel like 3-point shooters, spacing, and hard rim rollers, those are really what we've seen Luka survive or thrive with. And honestly, I feel like, before Kyrie and team that went to the finals, they meshed together very well. They had good spacing, a couple 3-point shooters, PJ, guys that really help space the floor. But I always liked the Brunson teams a little bit more. I thought they were even more efficient in that, and they benefited from some good shooting too. But you had Reggie Bullock and I think PJ for a little bit of that, and Brunson was kind of the guy that would take the on-ball pressure away from Luka in those times where he needed to set or even on the floor, to help kind of get him in his spot. So I always thought those teams were even more effective. So really, the Lakers kind of have that in Reaves to some extent. It's really just the shooting that they need and kind of a little bit better pick and roll players. Ayton's just not necessarily going to cut it in that department, but if they can find somebody that comes alongside him in that, pair him with some shooters, Kennard and maybe one other 3-and-D guy, I feel like that's the most effective we always saw Luka in.
Luka just has never had the depth on his roster. Like he's always had solid starting five. Like you talked about Brunson, KP, Dodo or Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock at the time, like solid there. And then when they had PJ and Gaff and I guess Lively was a starter there. But anyway, that was a solid starting five. Derrick Jones Jr. He just never had like that depth. So like if those guys go off the floor, like they need somebody to come in and be able to do kind of similar things, and so they never really could get that situated. So that's kind of where it's always a little bit of a letdown for Mad team building there. But it's the same situation in the Lakers though. Like y'all's bench is bad. So
yeah, those this is where I give JJ a little bit of credit in kind of how he splits those minutes up. Like, of course, the starting, it kind of varies between, who's healthy and who's not, but just 3-guard lineup of, Luka, Reaves, Bron. Just off those, usually Bron comes out first, and then he'll have those minutes with Luka and Reaves. And I kind of like that game plan usually. It usually works out well for, spacing and shooting and other things like that. But overall, yeah, the bench definitely needs to, catch up with the first unit. That way, when those guys are out or they do need a rest, we're not letting out 10-0 runs and 15-0 runs or, some crazy things that just make the game, out of hand.
Yeah.
But truthfully, the reason I asked you, though, is because I think, like, bare bones wise, the blueprint is there. I think with a couple of pieces here and there, we could really, tie it together, because I 100% agree with you. I think having, somebody else, whether it's one or two, who can, shot creator, rim roller, and some shooters. I think whether it's coming off the bench or whether it's in the starting lineup, I think having that amount of spacing and options really does open up Luka to really just get to his spots and kind of pick wherever he wants to go. And I love Luka when he's passing too, because some of these passes like that he makes are crazy. Things that
Wow.
us normal people don't see. Like he's seeing the vision for it or getting guys open,
Yeah.
and so I love to see him get people involved. A lot of open shots that for some reason Vando was taking in the corner, and I understand he's open, but it's like, oh, if we had another guy who could really like
Yeah.
knock that down, like it just makes everyone's job easier. So though I think everyone has an idea of what it should be, I think we're on the right track. I think bare bones wise we know, and I'm hoping that they pick those right guys throughout
For
at least
sure.
these next couple of years.
There were a couple, we'll kind of wrap it up here, but there were a couple of wings that I kind of had on my list as far as like guys that y'all could go after and like just get. I mean, Vando's a great defender, but like he just provides nothing on offense, absolutely nothing. Can't shoot, can't do anything. So it's like get him out of there, get some of these wings out of there, and like add guys like Kelly Oubre Jr. from the Sixers. He's 3-and-D, solid 3-point shooter his whole career. Dean Wade is another one from Cleveland. He's playing right now. He's a solid defensive player. Guarded Cade all series. Played great on against him. He's a good shooter. And even like to a lesser extent, I mean Marvin Bagley from Dallas, who had a good end of the season, can kind of stretch the floor. Not as much of a stretch, big as you would kind of want, I guess. But anyway, adding those kind of guys would really, I think, help out y'all's roster and kind of put y'all over the edge, because I think y'all had a chance, really. Not against OKC, but if y'all would have been on the other side of the bracket, I think y'all could have had a really good chance if Luka was
For
playing.
sure. But yeah, I think definitely him being there is definitely an X factor. I think we would have won the full series. My bias says yes, but
You would,
but I just don't know. My thing is I feel like if you got Luka in a 7-game series is dangerous. I think anything
I
can
agree.
happen.
I mean,
And-
we watched. Like I said, we watched him for the first 7 years of his career, and he took some bad teams to the playoffs and battled with the Clippers when they were at the peak of their prime with Kawhi and PG and all those guys. Like, it was, seeing him carry some of those teams was impressive. But no, it's been fun, man. I'm glad that you could come on here and hang out and talk with us a little bit.
Great.
It's been good. For anybody listening, please like, subscribe, comment, do all this stuff. Let us know what you think about DJ's takes and fact check him. Fact check. Tell him that he doesn't know anything about ball. And
I don't know ball.
He should just stop. First and last podcast of his life. So, no, we really appreciate you coming on, man. It's been fun.
No, absolutely. It's been great, man.
Yeah. Well, everybody, y'all have a great week, and we'll see y'all next time.